morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
As we told you, this year the Barbados Defence Force is celebrating the 45th anniversary of its establishment under the theme Proven Excellence Shaping a Promising Future. I have two gentlemen joining me this morning that I am more than happy to see. Of course, we have Major Alfred Taylor, who is the Cadet Executive Officer with the Barbados Cadet Corps. And they, of course, are celebrating a major accomplishment themselves. But you'd recognize Major Taylor from kind of sharing the spotlight with me for the nation's independence celebrations. This is the gentleman who would have guided us through things. So good morning and welcome.
Good morning to you. Good morning, Barbados.
Great to have you here. And Colonel Errol Brathwaite. Now, I've known this gentleman since I was maybe, 11 years old?
Just about.
So wonderful to have you here, Commandant, now Cayman Islands Cadet Corps, and former Commandant with the Barbados Cadet Corps as well. Yeah? Was a teacher at my former school, so this is one of my former teachers. I'm very, very excited to have both of you here. And I'm going to start with you, Major Taylor, to talk a little bit about the Barbados Cadet Corps, a 120th anniversary celebration that's been in the works for a little while. So talk to me about the Corps and what you've been able to accomplish through the years.
Right. So first, let me make the connection between the Cadet Corps and the Barbados Defence Force. Of course, the BDF is celebrating its 45th anniversary, and it just happens to coincide with the 120th anniversary of the Barbados Cadet Corps. And I don't know if people realize it, but the Barbados Defence Force is made up of three distinct units: the Barbados Coast Guard, Barbados Regiment, and the Barbados Cadet Corps. So we are pleased to be here to kind of represent both entities this morning. The Cadet Corps was actually at the heart of the establishment of the Barbados Defence Force back in 1979, when it became a full-time entity. Many of the first young officers were former cadets. Indeed, former chiefs of staff, a great number of them were cadets themselves. So cadetting has always been at the heart of productivity in Barbados.
And for you, Colonel Brathwaite, how do you think cadetting has shaped in continuing from what Major Taylor said, a lot of the people who passed through cadets? I know that you were very actively involved as well from the secondary stage.
Indeed, the Barbados Cadet Corps and cadet corps and forces across the Caribbean region and even farther afield have always been a fundamental part of the development of young people in terms of, if I use myself as an example, if I use Major Taylor as an example, we both served as cadets together, going to summer camp every summer, learning some of the fundamentals of life that we did not get in the classroom. We focus on development of education, coming to camp or going to camp every year, skills like leadership, skills like teamwork, conflict resolution, those type of skills are the ones that we are able to hone, or that we were able to hone as a young individuals before adulthood.
Well, that's wonderful. I know you are Commandant with the Cayman Islands Cadet Corps. You were former Commandant here at the Barbados Cadet Corps. Talk to us about maybe some of the subtle differences that you see as you move across to different spaces.
Yeah, so a very interesting question, Tisha. What really brings me here to Barbados this time around is that we are participating in the 37th Caribbean Cadet Association's Commandant's Conference. So that brings about 23 individuals from across the Caribbean region to discuss the business of youth development through cadetting. So when you look at Cayman Islands, as you do across the other regions of the Caribbean, we do very similar activities, coming together as commandants to look at what we do to kind of standardize the activities in which we participate, all the similarities, and ensuring that the policies to guide what we continue to do are there for those who are currently serving and those who will come after us.
I know that you just had a major passing out parade just a few weeks ago. And I was mentioning to someone just yesterday, I think on the show as well, that I thought I saw way more girls than guys in that particular passing out. Has it always been that way where you've had, you know, a larger contingent of maybe girls as opposed to boys as a part of cadets?
It is something that we are monitoring very closely. I think the girls are just about to outnumber the boys, which is okay, except that me make an appeal for some more women to come and join the Corps of Officers of the Cadet Corps, because we'll need those numbers for supervision. We know that back in 1974, the first girls came into the Barbados Cadet Corps, and we've been celebrating that as well. And it's grown steadily from there. And in fact, just last year, we have our first all-female cadet company at the Springer School. So we're doing okay. The girls are doing very well. There's absolutely nothing in our cadet syllabus that they don't master. But we do need a few more women to come and join us.
All right, good stuff. Talk to me about the 120th calendar of events.
Yes, we still have a few activities to go. We have a wonderful tattoo lined up for coming, and we have also a grand concert. And also there's the Run Cadet Run. So still plenty of 120th anniversary activities to go.
All right. You know, based on your experience, I'm so intrigued to hear. I know that Major Taylor, he told me before that he was a cadet, and we discussed how many cadets usually move into being a part generally of the regiment and so on. So talk to me about your kind of growth through the organization. I know for a while you were a reserve because you were also a teacher as well. So talk to me about your rise through the BDF and how it has shaped the type of person you are.
So interestingly enough, my rise or my path through the Barbados Cadet Corps is what really led me into education. So you go to camp as a youngster, you develop all of your leadership skills from a very early age. I think I was about 13 when I was asked to teach my first lesson to my peers. And that's where it started. So I grew up delivering lessons. Then as I left school, I moved into the reserve element of the Barbados Defense Force, attached to the Cadet Corps, and of course, went off to Teachers College. And all of the tutors, when they came to see me deliver my lessons, they said, well, you know, this young man is a natural. And I smiled. It wasn't that I was a natural at all. It was simply that I had the experience and the exposure of being a cadet. So not only does it lead you into the services, the uniformed services, but also in any sphere of life. For example, persons like Rihanna, you may not know, she served as a cadet. We have a former Governor General in the person of Sir Clifford Husbands. He too was a cadet, former Chief of Staff, Brigadier Lewis and others. They too served as cadets.
So what about you, Major Taylor? Your path?
Well, cadets was everything to me at school. And of course, I got involved in music through the cadets and the cadet band. And it's really responsible for a lot of who I am and what I've been able to do. Something I highly commend to any secondary school child. Building your confidence, building your ability to be a good leader, the conflict resolution. And this has happened for many generations. Many people in government, in Barbados, in the public service, right across the board, all through the Cadet Corps. And if you speak to them, they will tell you that they attribute a lot of their success to the foundation they had in the Cadet Corps, and no different for me.
Absolutely. I think it's a very timely discussion as well, certainly for the conference that you're here for, to be able to talk about how you can help shape and mold young people through cadetting.
Yes, indeed.
So it must be a very interesting session that's happening, or interesting sessions that are happening with you. What are some of the high points or most memorable things that you can share with us from your time as head of the Barbados Cadet Corps here in Barbados?
We're certainly, looking at the Barbados Cadet Corps as the oldest continuous cadet corps across the region, and the significant part it would have played in the development not only of as individuals but as a nation. Because if we can continue to instill values in our young people, you can understand the type of society that we will kind of develop. Bearing in mind that if we don't harness the positive energies, some other entity will be able to influence our young boys and indeed our girls. So as the former commandant of the Barbados Cadet Corps, my perhaps highlight would have been seeing that continuity of youngsters coming in their larger numbers to join the Barbados Cadet Corps, and also extending a hand to the Boy Scouts Association, the Girls Guides, and encouraging other youth groups where they do not have the manpower, then we jump in there to facilitate that assistance as far as is possible. So working together, not that we want to capture all the young people in Barbados, but we want to work together in building capacity. So for me, that at the time as my service as Commandant, I would say was one of the major highlights.
And what would be wrong with that, capturing all the young people in Barbados? You definitely will have to build up on capacity. But for you, Major Taylor, high points for you?
High points is the way that we are expanding the offerings of the Cadet Corps. We have the band, of course. We have the Sea Cadet Division, which is 250 strong and growing. We have a cadet catering unit. We have a cadet medical unit. And just recently, we launched our technical engineering digital unit, where we engage in robotics and drone piloting and a range of skills, including photography and videography. Because our cadets, we want them to be marketable. I'd like it said that when you go into a workplace or you go into public service, somebody can immediately tell that was a member of the Barbados Cadet Corps. From their bearing, from their discipline, from their respect, from their leadership potential. That's what we want to create, not just for the individual, but for our country, Barbados.
Oh, that is indeed beautiful. And it's just wonderful to see that the two of you who are here really came through the ranks, because you need no better endorsement than from the people who've lived it, who've experienced it, to share about how you've come through the ranks and how it has shaped the lives that the two of you are living. So it's wonderful to hear. For any parent or young person looking on, tell them how they can become a part of the Barbados Cadet Corps.
Very easy. Speak to the officer in charge of your cadet company at your school, or indeed speak to one of your school friends who may be a cadet. And the process is very simple. They'll sign you up. You'll have to get your medical records done, etc. Online sign up, and you're good to go. We'll take you through a period of recruiting, and then we'll take you through the stages of your cadet career.
All right, good stuff. Final word for any young person or parent looking on as to why they should join?
So making the Caribbean and the world smaller or closer through cadetting, knowing that wherever you go across the world, perhaps, you're going to find young individuals who are involved in activities to develop them positively. That is the Cadet Corps, whether it be the Barbados Cadet Corps, the Cayman Islands Cadet Corps, Jamaica Combined Cadet Force, wherever. We are focusing on positive youth development.
That's very, very, very timely. All right, so thank you both gentlemen for coming in and sharing with us this morning about the Barbados Cadet Corps. And, you know, it's great to kind of put in perspective that the Barbados Cadet Corps kind of stands shoulder to shoulder as a way for young people to make their way into. What's the percentage, again, you told me before, of young people who transition from the Cadet Corps into?
It's about 80% these days.
That's pretty high.
It's pretty good, pretty good.
It's pretty high. That's excellent. So thank you so much, Major Alfred Taylor, who is the Cadet Executive Officer of the Barbados Cadet Corps, and Colonel Errol Brathwaite, Commandant for the Cayman Islands Cadet Corps and former Commandant of the Barbados Cadet Corps. Thank you both. And former teacher too, my former teacher. So good stuff.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning.